joining us today on Playing the Field. I'm Maria Serrao. Welcome back to Dodger Stadium. Of course, we are still celebrating the World Series, but as baseball is kind of winding down for the 2021 season, the NFL is just starting up. That's right. We're going to take you to 3 NFL training camps. So come on with me and let's go camping. First up on our camping trip will be to Irvine, California with our Los Angeles Rams. Now the Rams have a new quarterback in Matthew Stafford, and head coach Sean McVay telling us his main goal is to get Stafford and the rest of the team on the same page so they're ready for 2021.
Yeah, I don't think there's any question, Maria, for sure. I mean, just being here with you guys and having fans, you know, there's something about that just, you got a little extra bounce in your step. And so I know the guys are excited, and you know, I know for me as a coach, you always want to do a little bit more than what we did today, but I sometimes need to listen to our sports performance staff and know that we got a long list of practices ahead, and so it was a good first day for us. Yeah, you know, I think what I was most impressed with when you hear people from Detroit, I mean, he's got an ability to connect with everybody. I think probably the first thing that if I was him, you're saying, all right, just getting used to everybody's names, you know, a lot of new faces that you're not familiar with, but he has very seamlessly acclimated himself very well up to this point, and he'll continue to do that just by being himself, like I've kind of said. He looks pretty damn good to me. He's got that same look in his eye. He looks good. He had a good first day. We know that he's working hard, and you know, I think he's going to pick up right where he left off. And what he's done, you know, since I've been fortunate enough to be around him, has been pretty spectacular. He is one of one. I think, you know, kind of just being able to get away, you still want to stay connected with your family and your friends, but when you do that, you get a chance to really come together as a team, you know, become that family, create that bond that I think has got to naturally occur. Guys like each other here. You know, we've got a lot of like-minded people, but also some good different complementary personalities, kind of like we talked about with that rookie class the other day. But very encouraged, really love this team. I just like the makeup of it, and thought today was a good start, and you know, long way to go, long road ahead, but if we keep stacking blocks like today, you know, we'll be in good shape. But like I said, long way to go, but that's the big thing, Kurt, is to come together as a team. I think guys like him that have really played at such a high level for so long, Claudia, you know, you just respect it. And I think he's done a good job of kind of taking that leadership role on himself to educate guys, give them kind of exposure and insight into kind of how he's been able to extend his career as long as he has. And I know that he's really helped a lot of our players get lined up with some of the things that help him maintain over the course of the offseason, whether it's how he trains, how he takes care of his body, some things that he does even outside of what we see. And so fortunate to have Andrew for sure.
It's going to be a great battle all camp, just challenging ourselves to be as good as we can against a defense that was, you know, obviously as good as it was last year, and is going to be, you know, a really good defense again this year. So it's, you know, both from a personnel point and from a scheme point, it's a really big challenge for us on offense, and just something that's fun to try and get better each day and work against them. Yeah, it's brand new. Parts of the day, parts of me feel like a rookie. You know, I'm walking around trying to learn everybody's name and who does what and all that kind of stuff. So trying to perform at a high level in that atmosphere is a challenge, but I'm loving it. I'm welcoming it. I got great teammates that help me along the way. The best part for me is when I know I step into that huddle, I call that play, I got 10 other guys that are going to do their job. So as long as I can do my job, we're going to be where we want to be, and that's a lucky feeling for me as a quarterback, just knowing that I've got guys with, you know, great accountability, great experience, you know, in the huddle with me. You know, we kind of missed all this last year. You know, the first 11 years of my career, some version of this is what it felt like, and it was a lot of fun. It kind of helped us get through practice, to be honest with you. The first day is easy for us because we love coming out here and doing it, but as camp goes on, you know, we get these fans out here cheering us on. That really helps us out, and it was fun to, you know, both sides of the ball make some big plays today, and have them cheer. It, you know, kind of brings you back. But I think the biggest thing for me is just don't look too far ahead, don't look too far behind. Just try to stay in the moment. Know that it's not going to be perfect. You know, there's going to be bad days for me out here. There's going to be bad plays for me out here. You know, I just got to make sure that whether the last play was a good one or a bad one, don't worry about it. Just move on to the next play and really the next situation, because all these situations are new for me and different. And I'm just trying to embrace them, you know, take them one day at a time, one situation at a time, and go play. That's the cool thing about our offense. I feel like all of our guys that are running with the football or running routes and catching the ball are all kind of different, and it's fun. You know, it's fun to be able to try to set those guys up for success with play calls, and I think Sean does a great job of that. You know, I've had a an opportunity to work with both of them in the off season, and they're both really special players, and I'm just trying to soak up as much information as I can from them, and I hope that they're feeling that I'm giving it back to them, just trying to talk through situations and be as good as we can be. Yeah, I mean, I'm just trying to be as comfortable as I can, try to get comfortable, and that just comes with experience and reps. I can sit in the classroom with Sean and all the other quarterbacks and all those guys and just talk about it ad nauseum, but at the same time we got to go out here and play, and it's it's an imperfect game. It's not always going to be perfect, but I'm just going to do everything I can to try and make us successful, put us in the right play, and go execute. So that's kind of where I'm at. I'm just trying to soak it all in and try to get as comfortable as I possibly can, as quickly as I can.
I mean, it's good, be back with the guys, getting some work again. So anytime you're back in football, it's good, even though camp's a little long, but, you got to enjoy it. So, anytime you get young guys that's coming in, you want to, trying to teach them something or just show them how you work so they can try to gravitate to that. So, because the more guys you got stepping up that's able to play at a high level, the better chance you got to win. You can't depend on one or two guys. You need everybody. So, we need these guys to continue to get better. So, come game time, they can be ready. For whenever we need them for. So, it's been fun. You love working for a guy. Always got energy. He motivates, but at the same time, make you laugh. So, it's been great so far. So, you just lock in. You here with your guys, and It's football and meetings all day, and then by the time you're in your room, you sleep, and then doing everything over again. So it's just, I guess anything, you're a little bit more locked in here. So that's about it. I'm just a normal person, but anytime you get the opportunity to meet your new teammates and they respect you and look up to you in a role model type way, you're going to respect that and enjoy it, and trying to teach them some type of game as far as what they're coming into, what they can get better at, so so we can bring them along so they can have success in this league. So we played a whole year last year when it was quiet. Now hearing some fans yelling your name, it's a little different, but and we're enjoying it. It's good to be here, practicing, getting to enjoy it with the fans again. So it's pretty cool.
Next up, we are going to Costa Mesa, California for our Los Angeles Chargers. Now, quarterback Justin Herbert getting a lot of action out there on the field, but don't expect to see too many starters in these preseason games. For more on that, let's go and catch up with head coach Brandon Staley.
To be truthful, my mind hasn't gone there yet. My mind is so on what just happened out there at practice. I think we're going to transition to that sort of way of thinking here in the afternoon when we kind of start our preparation for the game. I'm sure it's going to be exciting. Number one, just to have our first game together in the preseason, and our guys are putting in so much to this, and I'm excited to see them compete more than anything. What I'm most excited is to see our players get a chance to compete in front of the world and show everybody what they've been working on. And as it relates to those guys with the Rams, all those people mean a lot to me, that were there. And I'm sure that I'm going to get to see a lot of them. And without all those people, I wouldn't be here. So it's going to be a really cool thing to be able to reconnect with them and see what they've been working on. So I'm excited to see them, but really more than anything, excited for our players to get their first chance to compete. We don't do a lot of game planning for the preseason. What we want to make sure is our guys just have a framework of who we're playing against, their base structures. The personnel is going to be vastly different because we don't even know who's going to be out there for them. So we do want to give our guys a sense of who they're playing and how that team plays. But in terms of the actual game plan, that's not how we approach it. We're just going to run our stuff that we've been practicing and just give our guys the best chance to go compete and really prove themselves. And so this will be our first crack at doing it, and I'm really looking forward to it. Our practices are going to be a lot more like games than these preseason games, and the environments that we create on our practice field is where the real action is in the preseason for guys like him. And I've been so excited to see him compete against all the special players that we have, and we kind of feel like that's the right environment for him to get ready for the season. And like I mentioned, what's really important to me and to us as an organization is that these practice fields, that is where the real camaraderie is happening. And then next week we get a chance to play against San Francisco in these practices, and that will be much more like a game than any of these preseason games would be. And that's why we spend all of our time pouring into these practices. So to your point, we can create that camaraderie. We can create that cohesion. We can create those, game-like situations where those guys can figure things out together. We don't, I think that's a big hallmark of how we want to do things, so that we can, keep those guys out in the preseason. And so looking forward to seeing those guys continue to improve together. I think it's a topic that probably the beauty is in the eye of the beholder. I think every coach is probably going to tell you a different story about how he feels, and I think a lot of it's relative to where your team's at. Do you have a veteran team? Do you have a young team? Do you have a team that's in the middle? What's your quarterback situation like? I think there's a lot of factors that go into it. I wasn't in college too long ago. They don't have preseason in college, and it seems to work just fine there. Last year we didn't have it, and teams did just fine without it. So there's a lot of factors that go into the preseason timetable that I think are big consideration: travel, logistics. I think that I'm learning a lot as I go in the NFL about the preseason, but I know that we're going to take advantage of these games the best way we can. I know that that's the thing. You get three opportunities, and we're going to try and take advantage of it the best we can. Yeah, we in our first team meeting, we talked a lot about that, is being fully present, and don't forget what your job description is. And the reason why all of you are here is because you're a football player, and being the best you can be as a football player is going to help you on all the things outside of your football career that are so important nowadays. I think a lot of people don't understand that what goes on off the field is very important, to a player's future. And so you can have both of those things at the same time. You can have a great life off the field where you're trying to create a brand and you're going to try and create opportunities for your family's future. But when you're a football player and you're on the field, you're in a meeting, you're in the weight room, you have to be fully present in order to be your best. And I think that that's something that Justin has a talent for, is understanding the focus and what fits him best, because all players are a little bit different. And I think that what he does a good job of is being fully present, and that's how you improve. And that's why I think that you've seen him have the camp that he's had so far.
And my final camping stop is in Oxnard, California with the Dallas Cowboys. Now, the Cowboys have been coming to California for over 50 years for training camp. The big question this year, though, is the health of their quarterback, Dak Prescott. For more on that, I caught up with the coaches and coordinators at camp.
Yeah, obviously Dak's continuing to progress in a really good way. Had an opportunity to throw a little bit more with Amari today, and so it was obviously great to see both those guys out there progressing, obviously the way everyone hopes to. Yeah, no, it was great. He's obviously, I think, doing a great job. In many ways, it's holding him back just from the standpoint of, we do have time on our hands, and so I think we're in a great place where we're at, and obviously he'll continue to progress in a really good way, and we'll be ready to go as we draw closer towards September. Yeah, obviously, at the end of the day, would you love someone to practice every single day? Absolutely. At the same time, having the Hall of Fame game, we came out earlier than most teams, and so we're able to have a little bit of time on our hands, which has obviously been very beneficial for us as we go through this process with Dak. But again, I think everyone feels great with where we're at. I think Amari's just explosive. When he's decisive at the line of scrimmage, he can take care of anyone and just go. And Michael's obviously been an exceptional player with just attacking the football. I think that's so much of who Michael is. When the football's up in the air, it's his to get, and he goes up and makes plays. And CeeDee's just got the suddenness that obviously we've all seen. And all three of those guys, they got so much of the same things. They're all a little bit different body types, and I think that's going to be a huge asset for us to be able to move them around. But they complement each other really well. They play together really well. So we're really fortunate to be in this situation. We got a lot of guys that we feel really, really confident about. And so it's a matter of, viewing this thing a little bit wider lens. This is a long season. Everyone's hopes is to be in February. And so we're going to need all these guys at different times. At certain games, I really don't care. There's certain game, maybe we have to hand the ball to Zeke 40 times. I really don't care if we got to throw it 50 times. I don't care. Every game is going to present different challenges and different opportunities. And so we got an opportunity to utilize all these guys. And throughout the season, there's going to be different opportunities that Blake, Dalton may have in a tight end opportunity or a matchup, and maybe we need to spread it out a little bit more and utilize these receivers. We're going to be able to utilize it all. It's going to be fun.
And moving on to IndyCar, the Long Beach Grand Prix is right around the corner. In fact, the IndyCar Series will end their season right here in Long Beach in September, and you know that we'll be there. But last month, I had an opportunity to go all the way to Nashville, Tennessee for their inaugural IndyCar race. Now, the track was so special, the drivers drove over a bridge and a body of water as a part of the track. So let's go catch up with the drivers. All right, we're now joined by Graham Rahal. Graham, Give us a little insight into what it's like for you driving on a track that you've never been on before.
Well, yeah, I mean, really the thing is it's the same for everybody. And, you know, we utilize the simulator a little bit. So when I went out yesterday for the first time, some of the visuals are right. You know, there are things that you still have to learn, but the basic concepts are the same and you can get up to speed pretty quickly. So I think that's one of the things about all the drivers in this series. You're pretty well adapted to being able to go out there and just putting it down. I mean, I would say lap, 7 or 8, or maybe even before that, we were within a second of, what we're doing now, an hour and 50 minutes worth of practice later. So you get up to speed quite quick.
When they design a new road course, what is the biggest challenge for a driver being on a track like that?
It depends on the track. Here, the bumps are the biggest challenge, is understanding where they're at, where to place the car, what you need to do. Traditionally, we know where those are on the permanent road course. Even when we go to Long Beach, we know because it's similar every year. Not a lot changes, right? Whereas like here, your first laps, you're kind of driving all over the place trying to find those. Long Beach, I'll show up and I'll know where to go. So that being said, those are probably the biggest challenges as we go forward. The sight lines are difficult. So, when you're in concrete jungle like this is with walls all over, knowing the sight lines, knowing where to go, that's also difficult.
The straightaways look like you can pick up some pretty good speed there.
Yeah, the back straight in particular going into turn 9 is quite quick for a street course, long. When you're coming back down the bridge, it's downhill a lot going into 9, so it is quite quick.
So the first time you guys are going over water, what is that sensation like?
You don't even really see it for us. You're so low with the walls the way they are, you really don't see it, but it is very cool. And I know the visual for the fans and everything, it's pretty awesome.
Visually, to be right outside of a football stadium like this is also unique.
It is very unique. I think it's a cool thing, and we were actually talking this morning with Greg Penske about it. Something we should utilize more is facilities like this, because having the football stadiums allows a lot of access for fans. It allows, meeting room opportunities, stuff for drivers' meetings, things like that. And it also offers great large parking lots that, allow us to do what we're doing right here and have our trucks set up and everything else. So probably a sign of the future.
I think you might be right about that. Now, as far as your teammates go, what's it like having 3 guys together here?
Well, it's good. We've got to bounce a lot off of each other. We need to learn a little bit more, I think, as a group. I made a mistake there in practice 2 and didn't get to complete the session. Takuma didn't get to run new tires either on reds. So that's a challenge. We're trying to learn from each other, but we're both got that question mark right now. But it is what it is. Put our heads down, try to go forward.
We are now joined by Takuma Sato. And Takuma is so interesting. Welcome to Nashville, first of all. Very interesting that you're driving on a track that, for everybody, nobody has been on before. What is that like?
Well, I mean, it's a fantastic opportunity for us, and come to the brand new venue. It's always exciting, and downtown has got so much energy with the music festival going on too. That fantastic. The fans all come together. For the truck is very challenging for us because we are basically coming from the clean sheet of paper. A very engineering challenge as a driver. Very limited time. You have to adapt with a new environment, and particularly for the street course, no margin error. We have to brake so deep, and you have to commit so much, and it's just fantastic.
What are the straightaways like? It looks like you can pick up some speed, especially on the back.
Yesterday I think we made a good progress, but the last lap was interrupted by red flag and etc. But seems like today I was a little bit more struggling somehow, that I couldn't get the feeling of get going. So we are just looking at the data, preparing for the qualification.
Yes.
Hopefully we'll be back up to the speed. But through the bridge, end of the straight, on the street course we go over 180 miles per hour, which is quite impressive.
This will be the first time that you're actually going over a body of water, but you can't really see it, can you?
we don't see it from the car, but from outside it must be spectacular.
Yeah, very much so. And just kind of touching on the fact that we're in a city where we see fans, we see people again. How motivating is that for you guys?
It's just fantastic. It's just the name of the sport, engagement with the fans, and for us race cars drivers and the team, and look at the paddock too. That we have so much people here. Obviously, still we are under challenging for the COVID-19 situation, but it's just fantastic to see the so much fans engaging.
What is it like? You have been with Graham for a while now. Santino is joining you to have multiple people in your group that you can sort of share information with.
Yeah, for sure, it's helping. Because we had such a limited time in the practice. Like yesterday, yes, we had 75 minutes, but then so much interrupted by red flag. So did it happen this morning? So we have only 2 practice sessions, and gathering all the data possible compared to the single car team. Double is better, 3 cars is even better, and some of the teams running 4 or 5 cars. So. Yeah, I think the Santino joined us team, and we give all the driver have a consistent environment.
When tracks are designed, especially a temporary street course, do they ask for input from driving teams? How does that work?
Well, first of all, I think they don't. Well, they listen to our feeling of it, but naturally speaking, street course is limited what the load available, so nothing we can really do. But in terms of safety, in terms of the bumps, yes, we do have a lot of input, and we do the track walk in advance. Some of the like a driver association, the people come to investigate together with some safety issue, and of course, yes, after yesterday, once we run, we know significant bumps, that could be dangerous. So we ask for the organizer to grind again. And that's what happened last night, so they did a great job.
So they are willing to make changes then,
yeah,
which is helpful for the drivers.
Basically, yeah, it's only for the safety issue, But I think they listen, and of course they see what's available. Sometimes it's limited and physically, but they've done a fantastic job so far. And I'm sure, this is a brand new first Grand Prix, we always some issues and could be done better, and we all understand that, and we wanted to have a better event every single year. So I think from that circumstance they did a good job.
All right, are you a country music fan, Takuma?
Say again?
Are you a country music fan?
Sometimes I listen, and not necessarily a huge fan, but how can I say? I'm aware to they have opened the new music, and last night, yeah, we had the band going with a sponsor event, and that was so much fun.
We're here with Santino Ferrucci, and first of all, welcome to Nashville. This is a brand new race for this series. What is the track like out there?
It's definitely a little rough, but the series has been doing a great job. They ground down a couple of the big bumps from yesterday's practice where we were actually catching air, and now it's really on to us to make the most of it and to have some fun today and tomorrow.
Interesting, because you're used to different tracks that you've been on many times. What's it like to drive on a track that you have no depth of perception for?
It's definitely fun. I mean, also a lot of the guys here have been on the simulator. I haven't. So this is like a true new experience for me, and I struggled yesterday. Today we picked up the pace quite a bit. We still got a little bit more to go, but I think we should be okay for qualifying.
What is the biggest challenge on this track? I mean, the 2 straightaways look like so much fun that you could really get some speed.
I mean, the biggest challenge here is braking. So the brake zones, none of them are straight. There's not a single straight brake zone here. And the problem with that is the cars don't like to turn and brake. They don't like to do multiple things. So it's just a combination of rotation and getting the car right. So every time that you're slowing down, we've got steering input and we're coming around a corner. So that's the challenge, and I think whoever nails that the best in qualifying is going to be up front.
What's it like for you having a team around you that you can share information with?
It's fantastic. I mean, Graham's on something slightly different than Takuma and I are, where we're along the line similar setups. So all 3 of us having that knowledge and bouncing back ideas off each other can really bring us up to speed quicker, and it helps us make decisions on the car a little faster. So we're a little bit more excited about that.
All right, so we just talked about being in Nashville. You love Nashville, yes?
I do. It's a fantastic town. I love coming out here.
It's a lot of fun, and the fans have really come out for this race. It's cool that it's right near the football stadium. They did such a great job out here.
Yeah, I mean, this is like home of sports. I mean, it's so cool with the stadium right in the background of us. Watch the Titans and see the Titans field and everything. I don't think there's any grass in there at the moment because I think they're prepping it. But it's definitely one of the coolest venues I've been to in a long time.
We are now joined by James Hinchcliffe, and we were just kind of chatting about the fact that, racing seems almost back to normal here in Nashville, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, if you walk around the grounds here in Nashville, you would never have known there was anything different. It's great to see fans out and the numbers that they are, especially for a first event. You never know how it's going to go in a city for the first time. Sometimes people complain about shutting down roads and causing more traffic and all the noise and things like that. But man, Nashville has just been such a great host. They've welcomed us with open arms. It's been a lot of fun so far.
Let's kind of dive into that. This is a brand new racetrack. You guys are out there for the first time the last few days. What is that like?
Honestly, for a driver, it's a lot of fun. When you come to a new track, it's always fun challenging yourself and having a new challenge of trying to figure out the little quirks and little tricks and secrets of a new place. And when you go places as a rookie, yeah, it's new to you, but everybody else has been there. The teams have data, et cetera, et cetera. Now it was the same for everyone. The engineers are guessing and learning as much as the drivers are how to make the cars work well. So I think all the teams and drivers in the series really enjoy the challenge of coming to a new place like this.
When you're doing a walkthrough on the track, do you notice things that will be a challenge in the car?
For sure, and it's great to walk it because you see a lot more at 2 miles an hour than you do at 200 miles an hour. And so picking up these small details, whether it's a little bit of camber in the road or a wall that sits a little funny or, a piece of paint or a manhole cover or something that you might not notice once you get out there, you can kind of lock it away in your brain beforehand and know that it's coming.
What about the bumps out there?
You know what? It's honestly great for 90% of the track. The bridge is bumpy. I'm not going to lie to you. The bridge is bumpy, and it's really just the transitions on and off, which there's not a whole lot you can do about that. And it's the same for everyone. And outside of that, they've done an incredible job. I mean, the quality of everything that they've done, all the paving, the barriers, and the fencing, it's the nicest place that we go to. It's all brand new, state-of-the-art stuff. So, Nashville put a lot of time and effort and money, frankly, into making this great. So we just want to put on a good show for them.
Okay, so you're going over a body of water for the first time. You're going quite fast. Do you even notice it's there?
Honestly, I forgot. Everybody talked about it in the lead up to the race, to the weekend. But we've been out there the last 2 days. I honestly completely forgot. Every time you go over it, it's just a racetrack. You're not worried about what's on the other side.
For all of the drivers, when you see a venue that has that stadium behind it, what is that like?
It's just great. I mean, it adds to the grandeur, I think, of the event. We've done it before in places like Houston and down in Toronto. You can see the CN Tower in the background, and the Rogers Center is not far away. But no, to be right in the heart of the city, we've done some street races that are kind of off the beaten path or in the city, but not in the city. I mean, you can throw a tennis ball and hit Broadway, so it's pretty cool what they've done here.
Just talk about just being out in the practice today and how it's going.
Honestly, it's going pretty well. The red flags are coming fast and furious, and I think it's just going to keep getting worse and worse as we try and push harder and harder. I think at the beginning of practice yesterday, everybody knows you're learning and building up time, and track time's key. So you don't want to make any mistakes and cost yourself track time. And now we saw this morning as stakes are getting higher, we're getting closer to qualifying. People are pushing a little more things happening. It's going to be interesting to see what happens in qualifying in terms of that. I mean, the banker laps are going to be important, let's put it that way.
What about the setup? Does that feel completely comfortable or changing things?
It's evolving, as the track rubbers in. It's not just we're going to a Long Beach or a St. Pete where we know kind of what the track evolution is going to be like. There's been rubber down in the past, so it takes a bit quicker. This is obviously brand new for everybody, and so learning how the track develops, the setup is going to evolve along with that as well. So trying to stay on top of that's kind of the big name of the game right now.
Back straightaway, it looks like you're picking up some good speed back there.
Yeah, I mean, down into turn 9, we're hauling the mail. It's pretty quick for a street circuit, and then I mean that's where we're going to start the race. Actually, is down off the bridge into turn 9 there, and it's a nice 6-lane road going in and about a 2-lane road coming out. So I'm seeing St. Pete, I'm seeing old Cleveland. I'm having all these horror visions of what might go wrong at the start.
Does it remind you of other tracks?
No, this place is really unique. It's obviously you've got the bridge, which is unique. The section on the other side of the river is very tight, very narrow, which is pretty unique. I mean, Long Beach has some narrow corners, but not quite like this. And then the elevation, honestly, there's even through the back half of the track here, there's some pretty big elevation changes for a street circuit that we don't normally see. And obviously some big elevation on the bridge as well. So it's a pretty unique spot.
And that will do it for today's show. Remember, you can watch Playing the Field 24/7 at playingthefieldtv.com. And next month's show is going to be jam-packed with so much going on in the month of September. All right, that's it for now. I'm Maria Serrao, and we'll see you next time.